Hey everyone, this is Mitch, coming at you with the Bruise news. Um, I don't actually know if that's the name I'm gonna go with. It's just, I think that it might be time for me to um, come up with my own channel now. I've wanted to do this for a long time, and it's always been something that has been in the back of my mind to do because I feel like I do have a bit of knowledge that maybe needs to get out there, and I can be pretty funny sometimes. So we're gonna try this out. I'm gonna try different names. We're gonna try different things. Get some subscribers because I got nothing going on right now. This is the first video I'm pumping out that has anything to do with this. So we're just doing what we can. Spend that first minute, just kind of getting that out there, and we're gonna try different names here and there, and then eventually change sort of the complexion of what I want to bring to the show, because I do think I want to do a few things, maybe even some things video game related. But, we got to start somewhere, and this is where we're starting now. So this is, for the most part, an MMA or fighting channel that will have some other things going on, or I'll do a separate channel entirely. I'm not really sure. We got to see how we do with these first couple ones. I'm a little bit nervous even saying this right now. I got my notes here, and I'm, a little bit weary of certain things. I don't have anything in terms of a studio or nothing. So we got to build up, and maybe we can get going somewhere and figure that out. But anyways, we're going to get right into that. I'm talking about some pretty crazy MMA news in terms of TJ Dillashaw getting popped and losing his title. It was pretty crazy. Well, he didn't lose the title. He gave the title up himself. When NSYAC had come to him in Nevada, told him that he had been popped for something. He immediately released a statement, kind of took that guilty approach, but he didn't want it to come from anywhere else. He wanted it to come from himself. You got to give a guy credit for that, but I mean, at the same time, it's like, come on, dude. Like, is it going to be the same thing as what Nate says, where everybody's doing drugs and everybody's going to get caught for it eventually? Is it a Jones thing where he's going to get popped for a picogram, so they know that eventually, back in the past, he has done something, and that's why he has a 1-year suspension and they're not releasing what it is? Is the testing just so strong now that they can find anything? Or is this legit something that has happened? Because he did do a big weight cut, and we saw the result of that fight because of it. His chin just was not there. Usually TJ, he does get wobbled in fights, like with the Garbrandt fight. He did get wobbled in both fights, once or twice a piece in each fight. Once in the first round, both in the first round actually, against Garbrandt. And it's not the first time. We saw him in the years ago in the UFC the Ultimate Fighter finale, when he fought against John Dodson. He got dropped there, so it's an interesting thing. Who knows at this point? We just know that he's failed. They haven't released anything that says that if it's what drug it is, or if it's an anabolic, or something, but we know it's performance enhancing. We know it's worth a year ban, and we're going from there to see what's going on. Continuing on, funny thing, bringing up Garbrandt, we are looking at Till versus Garbrandt in terms of the chin. A lot of people are criticizing Garbrandt, saying that Garbrandt doesn't have a chin. But that's actually not the truth. Garbrandt is still a pretty tough guy, in my opinion. It's just that it seems when he gets hurt, he goes into a slugfest immediately. Like, it's his first reaction. In my opinion, I felt like he was winning both the Dillashaw fights. He rocked Dillashaw, and when he would go for the finish, it was like an overzealous, too emotional Garbrandt, and he was really trying to take his head off. Like, if you watch the fight, you can see, like, Garbrandt literally grabbing his hand and, like, looking like he's ready to just, like, destroy Dillashaw's entire head, like, trying to remove the head from the neck and the shoulders and try to send it into the crowd like a beach ball. So, I mean, like, that's a huge mistake, especially when you're talking about guys at 135. Like, they're so fast, especially Dillashaw. Like, Dillashaw's so fast and so technical, and as soon as he made that mistake, Dillashaw lit him up both times. And I felt like Garbrandt was definitely the better fighter in both of those, because we saw what Garbrandt was able to do to Dominic Cruz. Dominic Cruz is still arguably, if not, still the best bantamweight that there's ever been. His footwork is phenomenal, his striking is phenomenal, and Garbrandt absolutely destroyed him. So I mean, who knows what's going on with that? But to say that Garbrandt's chin is gone is upsetting, because his chin isn't gone. Getting rocked and having chicken legs isn't the same as actually going unconscious. When you go unconscious, it's almost like that Wanderlei thing, where that cord or that notch in your chin, that cord's gonna keep going out every single time. I keep calling it a cord, but it's a vein. The vein that's the thing that knocks you out. It sends the nerve will get hit, and it'll send signals to your brain, right? And you go to sleep. Like that's what happens when you get knocked out and you get cranked on the chin or you get cranked on the temple. Those nerves get hit and they send that shot right to your brain, and it shuts you off. Garbrandt isn't having that happen. He's having he's getting hit hard, but he's not going to sleep. And in that last fight, he actually got a headbutt, and he got headbutted in the eye on the left side, and he had said that he couldn't see at all. And I think that the best approach to the fight, if you're in a fight and you can't see at that point and you want to win, you start throwing bombs. And then we saw what happened, because Garbrandt was winning that fight up until that point also. I'm not making excuses for Garbrandt. That's not my place. And he did lose. He's lost 3 fights in a row, and he has to definitely watch himself. And maybe it is just an overzealous thing, and I'm giving him too much credit. I'm just saying that compared to what's happening with Till and Garbrandt, there's a huge difference. I'm actually very worried about Till, because Till went completely unconscious. When he was fighting Masvidal, he kept coming in and out of the pocket. And when he was coming in and out of the pocket, he was blocking less and less. And Masvidal was landing 3-4 punches in each exchange coming in and out. And then at the end, there was that looping left hook that didn't look as hard as the shots that were actually connecting before that. So he was coming in and out of the pocket, and Masvidal was connecting with 3-4 punches, and they were landing really nice. Like, I thought he was going to go out from one of those. And then Till looked like he took a jab. He backed up. He circled around, and then Masvidal came down, hit him with the looping left, and it completely knocked him out. Hit him with 2 shots on the way down, and Till's head went boink right off the canvas, man. Like, it was bad. It's not what you want to happen, and it's definitely not what you want to happen to a 25-year-old. I'm hoping that he makes the decision to go up to middleweight, and he stops cutting down to welterweight, because it does seem to be having that effect on him. And we don't want to see a kid that's 25. No matter if he's cocky or he's an asshole, he's still a human. He's still a person. He's still a father. Like, he's a brand new father. His child's not even a year old at this point. He's got a lot going on, and he has to definitely work on that. Moving on, we have McGregor. He is an interesting fellow. He he's not my favorite person in the world, but you have to respect the guy's ability as a striker. He's definitely one of, if not the best striker in the UFC. He has an accuracy that you just cannot teach. You don't see it. The only other person that we've ever seen that with is like Anderson Silva, and I would say that McGregor, his accessibility to his reach and being able to make people miss and making them pay afterwards is next to none. Like that Eddie Alvarez fight, like, Eddie Alvarez isn't that good in my opinion. He's got no chin, and he got lucky getting to that lightweight title shot, but it looked like it was a child versus Conor McGregor in that fight. Eddie Alvarez could go toe-to-toe with almost anybody in the lightweight division, at least make it look like a fight. McGregor looked like he was fighting a punching bag, like, literally. Like, Alvarez was landing some shots here and there, but it was never a threat compared to what McGregor was able to do. Now, that being said, McGregor seems like he's really only in it for the money right now, and I can kind of understand, you just got beaten pretty bad, and it was pretty scary for you, and your coaches are worried. So if that's the case, then, you do what you got to do, but I think that you have to take the right steps, and you have to respect the right people. Cerrone's a guy who really kind of deserved that shot, and you had talked all that crap, and, he turned down the fight apparently because UFC didn't want to give him UFC stock, and they didn't want to give him the interim title. And I think that that's a little silly when it comes down to it. You're coming off of 2-3 losses in your last 4 fights, and, even though one was in boxing, to Floyd Mayweather. So I think that it's just a little bit silly to be asking that much when it's that type of situation, but what can you do, really? I think that it was foolish, and now we have to see Iaquinta. Now, it's not that now we have to see Iaquinta versus Cerrone. It's just that's a tough fight for me. I really like Iaquinta, and I wish that he could cut down to 145, but he's part of Sarah's team, and that Sarah team, they hate cutting weight. They're all about eating the pasta. They're all New Yorkers. They got that thick accent, like it's just, they're all, you're just like your father, like it's just crazy, those guys. But Iaquinta's a machine, and he's one of those guys who just, a lot of people didn't see him being where he is, and he's like Masvidal, where he's super, super underrated, and his punching is so good. Like, you saw what he did to Kevin Lee. Like, Kevin Lee's a good wrestler, and Iaquinta couldn't take, Kevin Lee couldn't take Iaquinta down. He had the leg locks ready to go because he's a great submission artist. He's got good punching. The guy's awesome, like, completely awesome. And he's one of the only people that actually survived an onslaught from Khabib. A lot of people argue that Khabib took that fight easy on him, but I'm not so sure, because Iaquinta is a machine. So, anyways, quickly, we're going to go over the predictions I got for the Pettis versus Thompson fight. We're going to go bottom to top. So we're going to start with the female fight. That's Barber versus Aldrich. Aldrich probably by decision. She's a good striker. She's good technically. She's young on the ground. I don't think Barber's really that well known by a lot of people. So I think that Aldrich is probably going to just, point her way to a decision. Probably nothing going to be spectacular about that fight. Then we got Violent Bob Ross versus Peterson. Pena is probably going to get the TKO early on. The guy's, crazy. He's like another one of those crazy guys like Sugar Shane O'Malley and Zabit. Like he's just one of those crazy guys who really goes for it right at the beginning. And he tries to hurt you constantly. So we'll see how that goes. But I assume that Pena is probably going to try to get the win quickly. Then we have Formiga versus Figueiredo. Figueiredo's like the flyweights. It's a tough thing with flyweights right now because they aren't. It's not. There's not much really going on, and I think unfortunately it does seem like a division that might end up dying off because it's not that popular. Even when Demetrius was champion and he was, 12-0 in championships or 12-0 in fights, it wasn't that popular. And if that was happening in bantamweight or featherweight or any other division in the UFC, even the female division is more popular than that. And that's not to say that females are bad or anything, but it's just the competition level isn't as high caliber as it would be anywhere else. And we're just slowly starting to see the females have that, where the depth is sort of getting there. It's not like when Ronda was champion, where Ronda was just dominating everybody with judo. That's because that's all she had. She had that over everybody. As soon as we started seeing other fighters with full world-class caliber capabilities, you saw Ronda lose immediately and not be able to do anything, So I think that that's a huge thing. I totally got way off topic there. But Formiga's probably going to win by a slow decision. Then we got McDessie versus Pinejo, and probably Pinejo's it's probably gonna be a decision. He's a wrestler. McDessie tries to strike too much. He's got the spinning back fist. He's got all those moves he tries to do. I just don't think it's gonna work. It's probably gonna be another boring fight. Not to say that it's a boring sport. I'm just saying because I personally do like the ground fighting a lot, but I'm saying for a lot of people that is more of a boring approach where you have a guy or an exciting guy like McDessie, you want to see him be able to do what he does best in a striking match. I think it's pointless to kind of put him up against a guy who is going to probably take him down. So Pinedo on by decision. Then we got Blades versus Big Pretty Justin Willis. Big boy. Justin Willis is a big boy. Curtis Blades could take him down and win this fight pretty handedly. Because Justin Willis isn't that great on the ground. He's been there a couple times, but the guy's like weirdly athletic. Like he's weirdly athletic, a lot like Derek Lewis, who fought injured against JDS, and that was a little bit odd. I do think that Justin Willis is probably going to get the TKO early on, probably first or second round. It's not a puncher's chance because he does like to throw combos, and he's a big boy. It's just I think that Justin Blades kind of needs to go out and prove himself a little bit more, and I think he's going to try to apply his striking and it's not going to end well. Then for the final fight, we got Stephen Thompson versus Pettis. This is an odd fight, and this video is 5 minutes longer than I thought it was going to be. I wanted it to only be 10 minutes, but I get off topic a lot. But, you know, I got my notes here, and I'm doing the best that I can, you know. So, anyways, Stephen Thompson versus Pettis. This is an interesting fight at welterweight. Pettis is like 33 now, or 32, 33. So he's getting up there, and he's had a pretty long career, and he's had a lot of stuff happen, and I think that the damage is starting to get to him. And then on the flip side of that, Stephen Thompson is 37. He's an old guy. Like, I don't even think people remember that he knocked out Robert Whittaker a long time ago, like 6 years ago or 5 years ago or something like that, a long time ago at middleweight, which is, I think, should be the place that Stephen Thompson is. Pettis moving up might do better for his chin, but I think that he might be a little small. He's 5'10", and he's a striker, and his ground game is good. But, I mean, he's only really beaten people on the ground who are even smaller than he is. So, that's something that's not going to happen at welterweight. Everybody he fights at welterweight, being 5'10", and being able to cut down to those lightweight, and even featherweight at one point he was going to cut down to, are going to all be bigger than him. I do see Stephen Thompson winning the fight by the second round. It could be by a cut again, because we've seen that a lot with Pettis getting cut up and not having that same body that he used to. But you never know with these guys, because Thompson is a checkmate style kickboxer where he tries to beat you with techniques that are like, you know, spin kicks. It's a Kyokushin karate style, right, that GSP had, except he applies that to all his striking. Whereas Pettis is a very flashy striker where he's trying to knock you out and get you out with Taekwondo, which is a one shot, you know. So it's one shot versus multiple shots versus, you know, trying to hit the chin versus trying to hit the chin. So it's going to be an interesting fight. I think that Thompson's probably going to win. I think he's too big. I think his style is too good for Pettis, and that's the way that it's going to go. I want to thank everybody who's watching the video. You know, we definitely want to get to a place where we get hundreds of thousands of subscribers, honestly, and I want to be able to make the channel fun. I want to be able to get everything out there, and I'm sorry for making this video so long, and everybody that watches it is like, oh, he's still talking? I can't believe this guy's still talking. Like, I don't want it to be like that every time, but I just feel like I have to get up here and I have to say the right things. Like, I'm sitting in my bedroom, you know, my kid's in the other room, she's watching, she's almost 2. She's watching little kid nursery rhymes right now, you know, just on YouTube, like that Baby Shark stuff. It's makes me not want to listen to that at all. So I just thought that this would be a fun time to start this, you know, because sometimes we gotta take chances, and I think that that's what this is about. I've always wanted to be an MMA fighter myself, and I'm gonna keep trying to do what I can in that aspect of life. But for this, I've always felt like I would do a good podcast, and I would do good YouTube videos, and I would be a good YouTuber in general, because I feel like I have the charisma that, you know, will make you guys laugh and make you guys want to watch, and I think I'm knowledgeable, and, you know, I want to be able to do all those things for you guys. I want to be able to do this for everybody, myself included. This is always something that I wanted to do, and I'm going to try and do what I can and maybe pump out a video once a day or once every 2 days, depending on how successful this gets right away. I do want to get this out there, so make sure you share, you subscribe, you do everything that you possibly can. And for the love, I love you. Bye, everybody.